as you go through little sections of this training, it should almost become automatic. Like the first time, I fully expect you guys to have to follow the training. You're going to have to go through the immersion sessions, for the sales stuff. But what's interesting is the way I set this course up and the way David helped me set this course up, you should only have to go through the training once or twice before you really start dialing things in. And then what's interesting is when you're not having the success that you want with a certain video in a certain area, that's when you go back to the training. That's when you go back to the mind map and you check and say, okay, what have I not done yet? Oh, I need to do that. So over the next month or so, you're going to start seeing this really become a lot easier because it's actually going to be programmed in your head. The way we put this course together was a very sneaky thing because it's designed to stick in your head after you do it once or twice. So the key is the more videos that you get under your belt, the easier this becomes, and it really does become a skill that you just know how to do. And I know a lot of you guys are seeing that already, which is really cool. So let's recap a little bit. Section 1, if you really go through the first immersion session that we did, it was a training on how to rank videos. Would you guys agree? Like, it's a training on how to rank videos and do it the right way. Now, here's what we did that for. You should be able to hand that immersion session to a staff member. They should be able to go through it, and they should be able to learn how to do this. Everybody agree that that's pretty much what could happen? Like when you hire someone on to do this, you could put them through immersion session number 1, and they should be able to see the things they need to do to rank a video. Get a video up, put a video together, rank a video. This course is designed for you to use to train your staff as well. And that's a big part of what we were doing. A big part of what we were doing. Now let's move forward. Immersion session number 2 was all about sales. How to make sales easy, how to make it to where it wasn't that hard. And immersion session number 2 was actually designed so that after you hire a salesperson, you can tell them what they need to do, but then they can go through immersion session number 2, use all the documents that we had inside, and have everything they need to go out there and make sales of these videos that you're ranking. Would you guys agree there? So it's almost like immersion session number 2, as well as the stuff we have inside the training. We're all designed to outsource and train your sales staff when you hire that on. Agreed? I'm not seeing enough yeses yet. I know everybody's just getting ready and taking notes and getting everything good to go because we're at the beginning. Good. So we're seeing some good things here. We're seeing some good things here. So what I have done here, what I have tried to really get across is the training that you've gone through. Right now it's designed to train you and get you really, really set up to where you know exactly what you're doing with each step of this process. But the thing is, it's also designed to be a training tool for you later down the road. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Today's session is the only session, literally the only session that is not necessarily designed to be a training for another staff member. Today is designed to be a training for just you. And the reason is because this is going to teach you how to run the entire company. I'm going to show you the overview map. So today we're taking a look from basically 10,000 feet up, looking down on this business and how to set it up and scale it. So that's what we're pretty much doing today. Today we're going to be talking a lot about processes. We're going to be talking a lot about the tiny little things that happen to make this business work. How many of you are excited and ready to go? I know I am. I'm excited because this is stuff that I don't get to talk about real often, but this is how you build 6-figure and 7-figure businesses. This is the stuff right here. This is the stuff that nobody really trains because everybody's so into training the internet marketing side, how to do the skill stuff. Now, the skill stuff is extremely important. If you don't have that, you don't have a business. But if you don't understand how to run your business, then you get caught learning how to have a job. And that's, listen, none of us got into this to have a job. All right, I'm going to tell you what we're covering today is 100 times harder than everything I've shown you so far. So understand this is going to be the thing that's hard for most of you. If Alicia were to get on the call right now, and she's listening, but if she were to get on the call right now, she would tell you this is the hardest thing for us to do in our business is for me to let go of things that I'm doing and to get my staff, my team, the people that support me and that really make everything work, give them more things to do so they can support me and take things off my plate. And that's absolutely the truth. That's the hardest part. And I guarantee it's going to be the hardest part for you. So without any more delay, let's jump in. Today, the CEO session, outsourcing and scaling your video-based business. So what are we going to be covering today? What are we going to be going over today? First things first is I'm going to give you, like I said, the 10,000-foot view of your business, the Video Magician Outsourcing Map. So we're going to go through exactly what everybody in your organization needs to do. Now, the way this is set up is it's set up in a way where it gives you the jobs and how to split them up. However, one person can do all of these jobs, 2 people can do all of these jobs, 3 people can do all of these jobs. You can split it up however you want. I'm just giving you the best way to segment your task, okay? After that, we're going to start breaking down the outsourcing map. So I'm going to give you each job. I'm going to talk about outsourcing video creation and optimization. Then we're going to talk about outsourcing the sales. And then after that, outsourcing what I call the fine print work. The fine print work. And I'll answer that in just a second, Biggie. That's a good question. After that, I'm going to be talking about some things you guys have hit me up with about setting up multiple YouTube accounts, because I know some folks have been having that trouble. That's not a trouble I have real often, but there's a reason I don't have that trouble real often. So I'm going to give you basically how to set these things up in a very intelligent way so that you don't run into problems setting up new accounts. Now, here's the question. Here's the question. If this is a business that you can completely remove yourself from, why would your staff need you? How many of you thought that? Why would they need you if you can outsource all of this? Ah, that's interesting, right? Who thought of that? Who said, you know what, if I can outsource everything in here and I can sit back and just, you know, watch it and have someone run the business for me, why would they need me? Why would they need me? Let me ask you guys something. Do you guys think it's harder to learn the skill, or do you think it's harder to create an environment where people with skills work together? What do you think? Do you think it's harder to learn the skill, or do you think it's harder to create the environment where all those skills, all those people work together? Do you think it's easy to run a company? It's not. Managing the people, managing, you know, getting everything down, making sure everybody's happy, making sure everything is set up in a way that is a good working environment is not the easiest task in the world, okay? Now, let me tell you something that's important to understand. You are going to train people. This is if you're good. You're going to train people to be so competent that they could go get a job elsewhere, or they could go start their own company. Does everybody understand that? You're going to train people so well that they could do those things. However, you're going to try to create a working environment that's so much fun and so motivating that they will never want to leave you. Now, here's the other side of it. Every asset that your team creates, is going to be something that you actually own, okay? So let me tell you something. When you hire these people on, it's always good to get a non-compete and a confidentiality agreement. Now, your lawyer can actually put that together for you. There is a reason that I did not put you together a sample contract for that stuff. Why do you think that is? I have a sample contract for the service, but why do you think I don't have a sample contract for the confidentiality and the non-compete? The state laws are so much different, okay? When you get into the non-competes, when you get into the state laws, when you get into hiring people to do this stuff, it's very, very different by state, by country, all those things. So listen, when you get to the point where you're hiring staff, just get a contract, talk to your lawyer. You know, it may be a nice little fee the first time, but by the time you get to the point where you're hiring staff, do you think it's going to be an expense that's going to kill you? No. It's going to be a very affordable thing. And nobody likes paying lawyers to do contracts, but it keeps your butt out of the fire. And listen, you are not a real business. Please, please listen to this. You are not a real business until you have a lawyer and an accountant. I always make someone mad on the call when I say that, but it's the truth. You're not a real business until you have a lawyer and an accountant. Okay? And the reason is most businesses that don't have a lawyer and an accountant aren't making enough money. They aren't protected enough to need them yet. But when you get to a point where you're making a lot of money doing this stuff, trust me, lawyer and accountant's a big deal. All right, so are you guys ready to go? You guys ready to rock this stuff? This is not going to be the longest call in the world, but I'm going to try to leave a lot of time open for questions because I know that's coming. All right, let's jump in and let's get started with the call. All right, so first things first, this is going to be a very important slide to you guys. All right, this is going to be a very, very important slide because this basically outlines 95% of what your business is going to be when you get started. Now, let me ask you guys something. When you first start hiring staff, where do you think you fall in this matrix of jobs? Where do you think you fall in this matrix of jobs? When you first start hiring, yeah, you got to know all of them. You got to know all of them. But once you get staff and you start training them, where do you think you fit? Probably the operations manager, correct? Like at one point or the other, before you hire staff, you do all these jobs. You do all of them, okay? But when you start hiring staff, the idea is if you hire out the 3 jobs below, video creation, sales and marketing, finance and billing, and you hire people out to do those things, you're going to fall inside of the operations manager, okay? But let me ask you something. Do you have to stay on as the operations manager when you get to a certain point? What do you think? No. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So here's the thing. Right now, in my organization, in my internet marketing business, we have Alicia that basically does public relations. She does reach out to folks, but I am actually training Alicia to be our operations manager. And I want Alicia to get to a point to where she knows how to coordinate all of our staff members and really set them up. And it's something that we're going through right now. And Alicia's getting her butt kicked with all the fun stuff that I'm throwing her way. But the idea is she is going to be my operations manager, and she's going to be the person that coordinates the staff. Does everybody kind of understand how this looks? Like you got a good sense? I'm about to go through this one by one. Does everybody understand just by looking at this? And do you see why this slide is extremely freaking valuable? Yeah, I hope you do. I hope you do. Roxana says, this is really, really good. Steve says, oh yeah, and he sounds excited. He's got the exclamation mark on there. All right, so what I want to go through is what each of these does and how you run it. Now, I'm going to give you a good, nice overview right now, but then I'm going to actually dive into specifics here, okay? So first things first, your operations manager. Your operations manager is probably the most important because they keep it all together, but your operations manager does these things. Your operations manager runs a team meeting. Typically, we have a team meeting at least once a week, okay? Your operations manager will make any major decisions. Now, even with all the stuff listed and all the planning that you can come up with, do you think you're going to have questions that come up every week that you did not think of? Yeah, it's happening. You're always going to have something. You're always going to have a fire to put out, and that's your operations manager's job. Okay, that's what they do. They're the person that sees the problem that the staff is having, and that could just be problems between the staff. And the operations manager is the person that calls the shots and says, this is how we're going to handle this. After that, your operations manager, when they see a new problem, the first time they actually have to just handle it, but as soon as they handle that problem, they have to build new operation guidelines so that that problem is never a problem again. That's probably the most important thing that an operations manager does is when something comes up that's a problem, they build in a new operation guideline so that that problem is never a problem again. Now, I know this is way ahead of where most of you are at with this business, but I want you to understand where you're going, and I want you to be able to set goals so that you can say a year down the road with this, 6 months down the road with this, this is where I'm going. This is my goal. This is what I have to do. After that, the operations manager has the great task of hiring and firing staff, okay? It's an important job. They hire and fire staff. After that, they report to the owner, if applicable, okay? So does everybody pretty much understand what the operation manager does? The operation manager should know how to do every one of these tasks. Okay? The operations manager has to know how to do all of the tasks that are below them. Okay? That's the thing. They have to be good at all of the tasks that are below them. So it's something that it's got to be a powerful, powerful thing if you got named operations manager, because it means you understood everything. Now let me ask you something. Could a video creation person, could a sales and marketing person, could a finance and billing person start out in that job, whatever respective job they have, and move up to the job of operations manager? What do you think? Absolutely. Do you think that's a good way to probably train your operations manager, is when they first come on, they're doing the video creation, the sales and marketing, or the finance and billing? Yeah, there you go, right? So when you first start, hire one person and train them to do each of those tasks. Each of those tasks. Okay? So what I would do if I'm you, is I would hire someone on, one person, when I first get started. So you get going, you get videos up, you're getting sales, you're getting money coming in, and you decide it's time to hire one person. You're going to train them in one section first, and you're going to get them good at that one section. And then as soon as they get good in that one section, you're going to train them to do the other thing. Is that unfair to ask them, once they got good at video creation, to also go out and do some sales? Is that unfair to say, hey, you got to go do this too because I'm grooming you for something? No, it's not. The idea is you did it all yourself at one point. Now you want to train them to do it all themselves. Okay? And the idea is you are pushing them to grow so that they can help you run the company. Okay? Now, do you think you need to pay your operations manager well? What do you think? Do you think you need to pay your operations manager well? Yeah. If the operations manager is not you, you have to pay them well. Do you think that you need to create an environment for them? Alicia, you should definitely check the questions because you're getting some fun things in here. Do you think that you should create an environment for them where they enjoy their job and they are put into a place where they're having a good time with their job? Of course you should. Of course you should. Now, here's the thing. The question is going to come up again. The question is going to come up again is, Ben, if they're my operations manager and they know how to run the business, why will they not just go run the business themselves and start their own company? Is that a possibility that could happen? What do you think? Is that a possibility that could happen? Yes, absolutely. But I'm going to tell you guys a secret. And this has nothing to do with my staff, because I think everyone on my staff right now could go start their own business and rock it out. But I'm going to tell you something. You got a lot of people who want to run the business and be the manager, but that don't want to have the responsibility of having their own business and all the bills and the stress of all that stuff. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people who are fine being the manager and running the business for you, but they don't want to actually own the business and own all the responsibilities. Does that make sense to you guys? I'm going to tell you, there are only about 10 to 20% of us out there that actually want to take on this crazy ass stress of owning our own business. The rest of the folks, they want to have a great job, they want to have great benefits, and they want to leave it at the door. Now, unfortunately, like I said, or fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, for me, I've got a staff that literally every one of my staff could go out and start their own business tomorrow. They have that mindset, I feel like. They could go out there and they could rock it out themselves. And I know that. And I train them in a way that they could go out and rock it out themselves. But like I said, we have a very good thing going, and I do my best to keep my staff happy. All right, so with that, operations manager, that's what you've got. That's the mindset that you have to have. The next thing is video creation and upload. This is the person that's going to do all the video creation, all the optimizing, all the call tracking setup, everything that has to do with videos and monitoring videos. That's them. Okay, I'll get more into that in just a second. The next person is the sales and marketing. This is the person that takes everything that they got from the video creation person. They find potential clients, they call them, they close the sale, they send the contract, they retrieve the contract, they alert the finance and billing side, and they alert the video creation to change the call tracking. What I mean by that is when you have a client that you sign on, you have to redirect your call tracking number. So you got to get that done. But that's got to be a sales and marketing back to video and creation. Okay. And then we got finance and billing. They tally up the qualified leads. This is if you don't have an automated system that does this for you. Can you have this almost this entire side of your business automated? What do you guys think? Do you think software can do this? Most of it. Other than to communicate with the lawyer and the accountant. That could almost be automated. You can send a client invoice, report paid, unpaid status, create monthly financial reports, file signed contracts from sales, and then communicate with the lawyer and the accountant. This entire job can be automated with certain software programs. Just about. Almost the entire thing, except for maybe talking with the lawyer and the accountant, those things can be automated. Okay, now let me ask you something, and this is really important. Do you think it is important? Do you think it is important that your staff communicates with each other well? What do you think? Yeah, absolutely. Do you think it is important that you do a weekly meeting or a bi-weekly meeting? Do you think meetings are important? I hate meetings. I'll just be honest with you. I hate meetings, but meetings keep your staff together and on point. That's all there is to it. But you go into a meeting with a purpose. If you don't go into a meeting with a purpose, and Alicia will tell you this, we've had other people run our meeting in an organization, and the meeting took an hour, and then we've had some people run our meeting, and the meeting took 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? So that's the idea. What tools can help with the communication and overall processes? I'm so glad you asked. I'd like to tell you about the tool that all of us use. We use a tool called HipChat. HipChat is a nice little chat program. It's not Skype. Skype gets very distracting to me. Skype runs pretty slow for me overall these days. We use a tool called HipChat. The reason we use HipChat is it allows my entire organization to talk with each other, and it's on pretty much all smartphones. You can have HipChat. Yeah, HipChat, H-I-P chat. It allows all of us to talk to each other, so we have it on our phones, we have it on our computers. Anytime we have a problem, it's good. Do you guys think I log into our help desk? You guys think I ever log into our help desk? No, I don't. Everything that comes to me from the help desk gets HipChatted over to me. So anything that's, on that, it gets HipChatted to me. And that's what's nice. I never have to log into the help desk. I just get the question, then it's answered. So that's how we do it. We communicate with each other through HipChat. You can send pictures. You can do a lot of cool things there. Now, another tool that we use is every so often we'll use Skype for group voice calls, but we'll also use GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting to talk to each other if we have to share screens and do trainings. A lot of my trainings, though, are literally me shooting a video, just like a training when I give you guys a training and I go through over-the-shoulder stuff. That's how I train my staff, too. That's how my team learns what they're doing. Hangouts? Yeah, absolutely, Bruce. You can do Hangouts. Not a tool that I really enjoy yet because it's still kind of buggy to me, but absolutely, Hangouts are definitely on their way to where they need to be, where they're a much more vital way of doing things. Okay. So, everybody understand the overview. Everybody get the overview that I just did and understand exactly what I just went through. Yeah. Good. Good. James, I'll get to that in just a second, brother. Don't worry. Okay. So, if this is good, let's jump into each individual job. So outsourcing video creation. I'm going to tell you how we do it, and then if you have any questions, you can absolutely ask it. Do you guys remember that video inside of the training where I showed you how I shoot a video? Everybody remember that inside of the main training? How to shoot a video, how to attach the call tracking and all that. You saw that, how to attach the call tracking number, set all that good stuff up. Everybody remember that, right? Guess how you're going to train your staff to do it? You're going to show them that. That's it. That's it. This course was built to train you and then to train your staff. Put them through the course. Each individual section, put them through the part of the course that they need to go through. So here's what our video creation person is supposed to do. The video creation person is supposed to create videos the same way. Use a PowerPoint slide, use a picture from iStock, put it together, change the phone number on the video when you're doing a new area. It's that simple. I walk them through that process, game over. I teach them how to do the call tracking by making them watch a training video. It's that simple. Upload and optimize. How do you think they learn how to upload and optimize stuff? How many of you realize that the Evil Video Magician is a staff training program? It's interesting, right? The Evil Video Magician is actually a staff training program. So once we created that, it's actually a program that we use to train staff. Okay? The next thing is they backlink videos if necessary. Do you think I get in depth enough with my people to say, okay, if this video is not ranking after this period of time, we need to probably start backlinking? It's almost the exact same way you all have been trained. Okay? It's almost the exact same way that you all have been trained. And that's important for you to realize. Important for you to realize. Now, the next thing is monitoring video rank. Monitoring video rank. So, how do you think we monitor video rank? How do you think my staff keeps track of how many videos they put out there? How do you think they do that? It's a spreadsheet. That's it. Literally, it's a spreadsheet. So what should that spreadsheet have on it? Write these things down. Write these things down. Everybody ready? There are literally 2 spreadsheets that my video person uses. Okay? 2 spreadsheets that my video person uses. There is a spreadsheet that manages the accounts that the videos are in. And there's a spreadsheet that actually manages the videos. Where do you think we get the information that we put in the spreadsheets? A lot of times it's just a Google search, guys. But the spreadsheet should basically be set up like this. It should have the video URL in it, correct? You can actually put all this in one spreadsheet if you want. It should have the video URL in it. It should have the channel name. It should have the keywords that we're going after. It should have the location that we're going after. It should have the call tracking number that we're going after inside of it. Now, can you do this? Can you do this with a spreadsheet? Yes. Can you do this with your call tracking in some places? Yeah, you can actually do it in your call tracking and track it that way. But don't make this hard. It's just as easy as putting together a spreadsheet to track your videos, and once a week, have your person go through all the videos they've set up and see where they're ranked. Everybody got that? Now, you can put your passwords in there too, of course. Now, here's the thing. With that particular spreadsheet you need to have, and I'm just going to repeat these over again, have the video URL, have the keywords for the video. If you have any client names, you can also put those in there, but I think that's a little overkill because of what we're doing with some other things. And have a rank. Have a little section that they can do comments. Okay, so with the comments, they're going to say page 1, position 2. Page 2, position 4. What happens do you think when it gets to page 1 anything? We change the color of the spreadsheet background. So let's say that it was just a regular white background for that. We would change the background of that particular area in the spreadsheet to green or to blue. And what that tells us is it's on page 1, really start paying attention to the call tracking for calls. Because what happens when we start getting calls? Well, we get our salesperson going, right? Yeah, we get our salesperson going, and we get them going after sales. So that's the key. When you're tracking this, don't make this hard. Get a spreadsheet and have your person maintain a spreadsheet where they're keeping track of where position-wise these videos are. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Is there anything else I need to go through? I can make a spreadsheet for you, but it's not hard, guys. This is something that's pretty easy to put together. All you have to know is what's the term that you're Googling and what position is your video in. And every week you have your person go back and Google those search terms and see what position you're in. And then correlate that with, are you getting calls? It's simple. So let me ask you something. What are the two primary jobs of the video person? It's create videos and monitor progress. Create videos, monitor progress. And of course, tweak little things to make sure the progress keeps getting better and better. Here's a great question. What if your video is ranking #1 but calls aren't going through? Perhaps nobody's searching for the term you're ranking for. So, Edgar, what do? We try to start ranking that video for other search terms. Because once it has juice for something, it's much easier to rank it for other things. In our example that we do inside the course, you guys saw first, within about 6 hours, I ranked for 24-hour emergency plumber, Jonesboro, Arkansas, right? You guys saw that. After a couple days, we ranked for emergency plumber, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Now, if you Google emergency plumber, Jonesboro, Arkansas, we're definitely top of the list. We're definitely there for 24-hour, but we're also there for plumber, Jonesboro, Arkansas. So, Edgar, if you're not really getting calls right now for whatever you're ranking for, switch it up a little bit. Edgar, with that particular video, what do you think is our next term that we're trying to rank for? It's a really simple variation, but it's going to bring more calls through. What do you think? And this is important because we're talking about this section here. Plumbers with an S. That's it. Plumbers, Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's all there is to it. So the idea is, Edgar, when you start doing your backlinking, start adding little variables into that to rank for other terms. Okay? That's it. That's all you got to do. So let me ask you guys something. What questions do you guys have about the video creation and upload job? Is there anything that doesn't make sense about this? There should be probably one piece that doesn't make sense to you yet. But if everything seems pretty good, let me know. Roxana, no. A lot of times we'll have one video that ranks for several keywords. So if I'm going after several keywords, Roxana, I would have the URL for the video in the spreadsheet. I would have several search terms that I'm trying to rank for that one video. If it's not working out that way or it's too much of a stretch, then go do a new video. Steve says, how to do the backlinks, like what to order to get gigs. Steve, have you looked at the course at all, brother? I mean, I'm not busting on you, but I've got all this in the course, you know. Look inside, Steve, go look inside the mind map. And I actually have links to all of the gigs that we use for backlinks, brother. It's okay. You may have just missed it. It happens. But if you go into the mind map, I actually have links, and these are recommended gigs that I actually use. So just jump back into there, and there you go, man. And then I know we've been, I know there was a 40 embed gig that I've got to add to the mind map that David suggested too. So hopefully that helps you, okay, man? I'm here. You just tell me what you need, Steve, and if you haven't seen it yet, or perhaps it's not there, I'll get it in front of you. Steve, okay, Steve, real quick, because this is important. Let me mention this one more time. Steve says, been in there, just not sure the order of how to do the gigs. Steve, first thing that you need to do is order embeds. Okay? You need to have people embed your video first. You guys want to know a secret as to how I got that video to rank for plumber, Jonesboro, Arkansas? I embedded the video in one place. One place. Okay, I'm going to give away a trick now. I'm going to give away a trick. Okay, everybody please listen. This was not planned for the call, but I'm going to give you guys a trick really quick, okay? So everybody tell me when you're ready. Just say yes. Tell me when you're ready. Okay. Embed your videos in places that make sense. And I'm not going to just come out and say this, but embed your videos not only with Fiverr, but if you embed your video in somewhere that really makes sense, then you're going to see some good things. Even if you don't leave that embedded up the entire time. For instance, do you think it would make sense if you had a website, like an actual website, that was that had the keywords you were trying to rank for, and you embedded your video on that site? Do you think that might make sense? I'm trying to be sly, but at the same time, I want to get across what I'm trying to say. If you're having trouble with, let's say you've gone out and you've bought a bunch of embeds, and you're having trouble, see if you can go buy a domain with the keywords you're trying to rank for. Set up a quick WordPress site. Now, this is going to take longer. This is only if you're having trouble, guys. Okay? See if you can find a website, domain. Set up WordPress on it real quick, and then embed your video there. Now, don't do that right away because that will slow you down. But if you ever run into a video that you're having trouble ranking quickly, do that. Does everybody understand what I just said? If not, say no. If not, say no. Okay, good. Hey, Elizabeth, it's you, dear. No, I don't believe I'm dropping out for anybody else. So I don't know if it's what's going on with your connection. Maybe close a couple other things down if you've got them open. All right, so the key here is, and I'll say it one more time, if you have a video that's getting its butt kicked, you've gone through, you've bought embeds on Fiverr, you've bought backlinks on Fiverr, and it's not doing what you need it to do, then possibly go out and set up a domain that has your keywords in it and just embed your video there. Yeah, pretty much, Bonnie. Doesn't have to be fancy. I use WordPress because it's pretty much optimized already. But when I need something to rank fast, that's what we're doing. No, Biggie, I would not say you have to, I hardly ever do that. I hardly ever go out and go get a keyword-oriented domain. But if you have something that you're having a tough time ranking, like a month to 2 months down the road, there you go. There you go. All right, so let's get back to actually outsourcing because I deviated a little bit. The only thing that should not make sense here is the vid progress report. But if you're actually putting these things into if you're actually putting these things into a spreadsheet, is your video progress report already done? Is your video progress report already done if you put these things into a spreadsheet, especially if you're changing the color? Yeah, because then you can just send it to your person and say, hey, let's go. Now, what is your best video progress report? Because let's really break this down. What is your best measure of success? And then I've got a testimonial I think I'm going to read out to you. Your best report is your call tracking. So if you have a video that's getting calls, I don't care if it's on page 3. If you have a video that's getting good calls, do you think it's time to get your salesperson on that? That's your progress report. Literally, your person can open up Microsoft Word. They can type in, this video is killing it. We're generating leads in this area. Call a plumber in this area. And send it to your salesperson, and then that's it. That's it. So understand this video progress report. The best progress is when it's generating calls. All right, real quick, let me read what Bonnie said. Bonnie says, oh, by the way, got the only video that I've done so far with it on the second page for Bronx landlord attorney, and husband said he got a call yesterday from the video. How cool is that? How cool is that? Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Pretty stinking sweet. Here's what's interesting. Let me tell you this, because this is what Bonnie just said. Bonnie says, and even though it's ranked #1 on his website is actually ranked in the #1 position, they still saw the video and called. Does that tell you guys something special? Even though he's ranked #1 in Google on page 1, they still went to page 2 and saw the video, and that's what got them to call. And Bonnie says it's really not a great video. That's powerful, Bonnie. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Video engages. Exactly, Steve. Very good. Exactly. So, is there anything about outsourcing the video creation that you guys don't understand? You understand that everything you need to train these folks, you're going to already know how to do, plus you've got training material inside of the course. Pretty good, right? I hope you don't think that I'm copping out by telling you all of the training material is inside of the course, but it is. And I don't want to waste your time. I respect you guys too much to waste your time going through it again when I can just say, when you get ready to hire an employee, put them through the course for how to rank the videos. It's that simple. It's that simple. You guys ready to move on? Roxanne, I would not do that because you don't own the asset. All right, moving on. Want to talk real quick about managing your videos in one place. This is with video creation. This is pretty much what you can do. If you are managing your videos and your video person is monitoring progress, a lot of times all you need is a place to write notes. So if you're using CallFire, my suggestion would be this. Use FreshBooks too. Why do we use FreshBooks if we're using CallFire, do you guys think? And let me just go ahead and answer this. Because you need an invoicing system. There's no auto billing inside of CallFire, so you have to manually send out an invoice. I showed you last week on the sales call some stuff that we were doing with FreshBooks. Now, if you're using analytic call tracking, which is Joe Troyer's software, it's automated. Can I show you guys a little over-the-shoulder stuff with the call tracking? And this is the actual analytic call tracking manual, guys. I want to show you this because I love the way that they actually set this. And I know I've never shown a manual on a webinar, on a training webinar before, but I was so stinking impressed with this particular manual that I really wanted to show you guys this. So this is basically the manual for the enterprise version of analytic call tracking. And this is just basically where it teaches how to do auto billing. So let me show you how easy this is. Number one, you're going to integrate PayPal. That's it. There's literally a little button. Like we've got stuff here, but there's literally a little button that says integrate PayPal. And you go in and you can integrate your PayPal. All right? I recommend about 10 to 15 clients before you switch, Steve. So you can integrate your PayPal. You literally take your PayPal and you put it in a box. That's how it knows, hey, this is the PayPal we're paying to. After that, you set up your invoice template. Literally, you set up a template, you pick your colors for your invoice, and that's pretty much it. I know I'm showing a PDF manual on here. Cynthia says, but you're switching to a credit card instead of PayPal, correct? Cynthia, the thing is, yeah, when you're with PayPal, you can take credit card payments even though they're going through PayPal, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And with PayPal, I have a business account. I don't just have a personal account. So that's why you can take credit cards in a very easy way. All right, so we got those things. This is a sample of what the invoice looks like when it gets sent to them. Don, if you switch systems, do you lose the tracking number? Yeah, Don, whatever you put into CallFire right now stays in CallFire, if that's what you're using. Okay? Whatever you put into CallFire right now stays in CallFire. That's why I don't tell you to wait till you get 50 videos. Switch early. Switch early. Okay? Because once you get to 10 videos that are ranking and they're generating sales, brother, you're at a point to where it's time to move on. Because you got the system now. Okay? Moving forward. Great question. If we already have a merchant account, can we set up with analytic call tracking? You have to have one with PayPal, Roxana, but here's the thing, Roxana. I have my own merchant account. I got two, actually. 2 or 3 merchant accounts outside of PayPal, plus I have a account inside of PayPal that's a merchant account. So I have a merchant account with PayPal and outside. Rick says, don't you worry about PayPal blocking your account. Not really, Rick. Not really. Oh, and this is a great announcement. I knew this was coming, but I didn't want to say anything until Joe announced today that you don't have to use PayPal for invoicing. So that's cool. So Joe's been working on that too. So apparently you're going to be able to actually put in your own stuff here pretty soon anyway, Roxana, just so you know. That's pretty awesome. That's why I love Joe's stuff, is because Joe's stuff is always updated and Joe's always improving on it. All right, real quick, let me go in. The next thing is you add a client. After you add a client, you're literally just typing in their information, okay? You're literally just typing in their information and you're putting stuff in the box. I'm not a fan of Lead Tracker Jack. I've never used it, but I'm not a big fan of that company in general. So I can't speak to that, JD. I don't know. We've got an update that's there, but don't worry, it's not going to restart for me. This is actually analytic call tracking that you're looking into the manual for. Okay? Analytic call tracking that you're looking at the manual for. And I won't stay on this manual very long because I know it's a little boring. Now the next thing is you got a screen inside, and let me actually zoom in on this a little bit so you can see this, because this is the most important part for me. You got a section that you can say all calls over 60 seconds, all calls over 30 seconds, automatically bill. You guys understand this is how you're going to basically outsource your entire financial side. Just about your entire financial side, except for doing reports at the end. The billing is auto done. Okay? And you can tell them how quickly. You can attach it to the number. All that stuff works. You can even set criteria if you're doing flat rates, things like that. You set the email address that everything gets sent to. It's a beautiful system. I'm not going to go through and actually straight up go through this manual, but the next thing is, I think the most important part for me, is you have a section that says manage billing inside of here, and it tells you if the client's paid or not. So your operations manager, your financial person, whoever's doing this can say, okay, who's paid, who's not paid, who do we need to get on the phone with and see why they haven't paid. Everybody understand that? Can I move on? The reason I love Joe's system, and I don't want this to come off like a commercial for Joe's system, but listen, this is what I like. The reason I love Joe's system is because it's simple and it automates a lot of the things that we couldn't automate inside of CallFire. CallFire is I literally have to hire another person if I'm using CallFire to do the financial side. Make sense? And the reason is because they have to send out invoices using FreshBooks. Please move on. You got it, Carla. All right, so let's actually move on. Outsourcing the sales process. Outsourcing the sales process. So here's where the salesperson picks up. When the video person sends in the progress report and says, hey, we're getting a lot of calls here, we're sending leads to this phone number, that's when the salesperson goes to work. Okay? The salesperson goes to work, and the salesperson says, okay, this video is doing good, I get on the phone. Why is it a big deal that you give a salesperson a phone number, or a number that's already generating leads? Because it's simple at that point, right? Right? It's simple to sell it at that point. If it's already generating leads, it's not a hard deal. So this is what the salesperson is responsible for doing. They're responsible for going into Google and searching for a keyword and finding clients that might need the service. So they're finding potential clients. They're going in to look and see, okay, who is not on page 1? who is on page 1 and might want leads. And then they call those clients and they do the pitch. Who looks for niches and terms that should be ranked for? That's more of a business operations thing. The business operations manager is going to say, hey guys, we are after the dental niche. We're after the dental niche, and I have you a list of cities that we're going to put videos together for. So my video person, I want you to go in and use the tracking software. You guys know the software, the Viewleo software. I want you to go in and I want you to look and find which of these areas that I just gave you is actually the easiest to attack, and then I want you to build videos for them. So it's actually the same thing that we taught each other to do in the first couple sections, okay? So with the Viewleo software, you literally have the operations manager says, we're doing dental, we're doing plumbing, we're doing this niche, that niche, whatever. And I want you to go look at this list of cities, which I gave you guys a list of the best cities to go after. And I want you to go start doing searches using the Viewleo software and see where we can attack the quickest. And then I want you to build videos and attach phone numbers for that. Does that make sense, Chiz? Am I saying your name right too, by the way? I got to get that down. Chiz? I'm going to get it. Okay, Chiz. All right, good. So that's what we're doing. That's an operations manager and video person, Chiz. That's what they're doing. And I don't think I defined that enough earlier, but the operations manager sets the course of what you're doing, and then the video person does the actual work. Okay, so back to sales. They're calling potential clients. They're closing the sale. So when someone agrees on the phone, the salesperson sends them a contract. As soon as the contract is signed, they retrieve the contract. Always have your salesperson set a time limit on how long to sign the contract. Say, okay, please sign this in the next 3 days and get this back to me. If they don't get it back in the next 3 days, have your salesperson move on and start calling other people. It's that simple. Do not let someone sit on a contract that they haven't signed and sent back. We don't want those kinds of clients. So after they retrieve the contract, they're alerting the finance and billing person. Why are they alerting the finance and billing person? What are they telling them? What do you think the communication is here? What's going to happen is they are going to give the finance and billing person the contract, and the finance and billing person is either putting that client into FreshBooks or whatever you may be using, FreshBooks, or they're putting that person into the analytic call tracking. So here's what actually happens. They're going to alert finance and billing every time a sale is made to actually put someone in the system, and then either you can have the salesperson alert vid creation to change call tracking, or you can have the finance and billing person to alert the person that's doing the vid to change the call tracking number. Did everybody follow that? Because that can get a little confusing. What are the things that has to happen when you make a sale? As soon as you make a sale, you have to change the call tracking number that was on the video, so you have to redirect it to the new client's phone number so that they can get a lead, and that's the video creations person's job. And you also have to alert the billing person to set up billing so that every time that client gets a call, that they're billed for it. Now, let me ask you something. If you have a dedicated finance and billing person, could you train them to go in and do all of the changing of the redirection on the number 2 and just have one person do it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Don, they could be. It depends on how you set it up initially, man. If, by the way, let me go through this, because Don just said, isn't the tracking number already sending free leads to the prospect client? Yeah, in theory it is, but if it's not, you change it. If it's already sending them there, now you're just charging them for it. Depends on how you go about it. If I'm giving you guys the best laid plans, it's this. You don't have a billing person. You have the software that's doing it automatically, and the salesperson just reaches out to the video creation person and says, hey, we got a client, change the tracking number, put them in the system. And you can actually have your video person put them in the system too. Does that make sense? Because listen, your whole point of your billing person is if you have a manual billing system. However, if you don't and you have a software that handles the billing, does it make the most sense for the video person to put the client in the software? Yeah, absolutely it does. So I have to be careful with how I train this because all of you are going to set your company up a little bit different. But the key is when the sale gets made, the client has to go into the software so they can be billed, and the client has to have the number associated with them now. Yeah, there is, Don. There is there is a setting that you do that you can turn on to start charging a client inside of analytic call tracking. Okay, so there's a setting that you can say, hey, we're going to start charging this person this, send in this invoice. Now, you can do this differently. I'm just giving you a nice overview of all the particular jobs. Now, makes sense to everybody? Are we ready to move on to the next section? Ready to move on to the next section? Good, let's do it. Are you guys digging this? Is this giving you a good, clear view of how to be the CEO of this company? I hope that I'm getting this across the right way. Like I said, I feel really good about this because I know how this all works, but I want to make sure everybody is grasping this. Good. All right, just making sure everybody's still with me. All right, now the fine print work. Now, as I said, this is something that absolutely can be almost completely software. If you're using Joe's software, it's almost completely software. You just have to have someone to input the clients and to change the numbers if they need to be changed. That's it. So here's what we got. Finance and billing. You're going to have someone tally up the qualified leads per client. This is if you're doing it manually. Send client an invoice, okay? Report paid, unpaid statuses to the operations manager so the operations manager can decide, are we cutting this client off or does someone need to get on the phone with them? Does the salesperson need to get on the phone with them and ask them what's going on? Understand that in my company, my salesperson is kind of like my public relations person too. But the finance person, if you have one on staff, you can have your finance person be the person that calls. However, I like putting my salesperson in those positions because they have the relationship. Okay? The next thing is create monthly financial reports. Why are we creating monthly financial reports? So we know how our business is doing. Let's say you're not the operations manager, you're the owner. Do you want to know how your company's doing? Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely want to know how your company's doing. And this is the report that's going to be given to you. If you don't have a finance, like you don't have a person that's doing this finance, this fine print work, then you're going to have your operations manager give you these details. Okay? And they can pull them from the systems. This is also going to be someone who's going to file the contracts and do the sales, that stuff. But you're also going to have this person a lot of times communicating with your lawyer and your accountant. By the way, in my company, this is my internet company, not my offline company. I have a finance officer, basically the fine print person. Her name is Sabrina. She's amazing. Some of you may have met Sabrina. Don, yeah, remind me at the end of the call, and I'll definitely do that. Now, I know I said most of this could be outsourced, and most of you are probably leaning towards doing this actually with software. Are there any questions about this, or should I move on? This is the boring part to me, but it's the most important part. It really is. If you don't have this down, your company won't work. Larry says, what? Your outsourcer communicates with your lawyer. Larry, understand, when I say outsourcer, I mean employee. And Larry, if you don't have an employee that you can trust to communicate with various other people, you got a problem. Larry, let me ask you something. Do you think I take time out of my day to talk to a lawyer or an accountant? And this is going to make it very clear. No, I rarely do. Rarely. When do you think I take time out of my day to talk to a lawyer or an accountant? When I'm in trouble. When something hits the fan, that's when I get on the phone with my lawyer and accountant. Larry, do you know how much time you're going to take out of your day and how unproductive you're going to be if you're spending time doing stuff with lawyer and accountants and getting those things done in the long haul? Now, when you first start, Larry, you got to. Like, you got to be that person. You got to be the person that gets on the phone, sits in the office with your lawyer and your accountant. That's good. You got to do that at first. But down the road, Larry, what I want for you is a business where you have someone who is literally managing the business and they do that stuff. Okay? Why, Larry? Let's say you're the operations manager in this business. Why do you not need to be the one who's directly talking to the lawyer and the accountant? Why would you have an employee that's doing that and then the employee relaying the information to you? Either you're going to be out doing something that you like, or Larry, you're going to be sitting around coming up with new ways to make money with your business. Does that make sense? You guys do not make money by doing these pieces. And this is the thing that I'm really tweaking in my business right now. We don't make money by actually doing the pieces. We make money by being the CEO. We make money by making the decisions and coming up with new ways to structure our business so we can make more money and help more people. And I'm going to tell you, talking to a lawyer, talking to an accountant is not something that is going to get me to that goal. I want to tell my person, my operations manager or my fine print person, I want to tell them what I want, and I want them to get on the phone and do it. Delegate, delegate, delegate. There you go. So hopefully that makes sense. When I say outsourcer, I'm not talking about someone that I hired and I'm paying $2 an hour. Let's get that straight right now. I'm not talking about someone I'm paying $2 an hour. Because listen, that's a load of shit. Let me just call it what it is. That is a load of shit. If you guys want to trust your business with someone you're paying $2.50 an hour, $5 an hour, you go right ahead. Let's see how long that lasts. The guys that are out there teaching that, not smart. Okay, it's just not smart. Now, what is it about a $2 an hour, a $5 an hour person that you're outsourcing from overseas that's a little bit dangerous? Is there any real reason for them to not go work for someone else for $3 an hour or $6 an hour? No. Would you blame them? Would you blame someone if you were paying them $2.50 an hour and you've given them all this responsibility and someone said, I'm going to double your pay because you're awesome. You're doing all this stuff for this person. I'm going to double your pay right now. Would you blame them for leaving you and leaving you in the lurch? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Pay your people well. The more stuff you give people to do, the better you pay them. Why? Because the more income they'll generate and the better your life will be because of those things. Okay. You guys want to go through pay? Let's go through pay real quick. Where do you find good staff? Steve, I find them locally. That's how I do it. I go out and I put an ad in the paper. Now, everywhere is different. So I can't tell you a pay. Like, listen, when I was living in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, do you think the pay was different than if we were living in New York City? Yeah, of course it is. But I'm going to give you a scale here, okay? Your operations manager should be making the most money. That's all there is to it. They should make the most money out of anyone in your system, with an exception. With one exception. Your operations manager is going to be set up on a set scale. So it's a static payment. So your operations manager will be making a certain amount of money. Now, this may be you, but your operations manager will be making a certain amount of money, and that's probably a fixed number. Would you guys, do you understand what I'm saying when I say a fixed number? So they're going to be making X amount of dollars per year. Okay? Now, your salesperson is the one variable. Your salesperson, you can absolutely pay something. And if I were going to pay my salesperson a flat rate, I would say I would pay them around half of what you're paying your operations manager, maybe a little less than half. But if your salesperson's on commission and they're making some sort of commission off of what they're selling, do you think it's possible that they could out-earn the operations manager? What do you think? Is that a damn good problem to have? It is. Good. So if you're paying them statically, your salesperson, and they're just getting a flat rate, and that's a tough one. I'd say about half. Your video creation person is going to be making about a fourth or a fifth of what you're paying your operations manager. Your finance and billing person is going to be making about 2/5 of what you're paying your operations manager. Does that help everyone? So basically, what do you got to figure out? What do you got to figure out here? You got to figure out when you first start hiring people, how much are you making, because you'll be the operations manager, and what is going to get them motivated in your particular area. But with what I just told you, that should give you a good idea. That should give you a pretty good idea. Yeah. So here's the thing. You have to be at a certain level before you start hiring people. Before I started hiring people, I was at about $10,000 a month. That was my number. $10,000 a month, I was ready to hire someone and pay them $2,000. That's kind of what I did. When I started having someone that was, I was bringing in 10 grand a month by myself, doing all the work, and I brought someone in to help me, I had made about 10 grand a month, and I paid them about $2,000. And that's where we go. Does that help you guys? Who did I get first? Was not sales in my world. Why did I not get sales first for me? Because I do sales. I love sales. I love doing this. I used to hate sales, but I love sales. What do I hate doing? I hate doing the video creation and the finance and billing. I hate those things. So I was really good at those things, but I hired someone to do the other things. Okay? I like sales, so that's what I want to do. Roxana, here's how I try to run my businesses. I don't like my businesses to be profitable. I like my businesses to pay everyone a really good salary for me, pay everybody else, pay the taxes, and to come out even for the business. Does that make sense to everybody? A business should profit, right? No, it shouldn't, because you'll get killed on taxes if you have too much profit for your business. Your business should pay your wages, pay your taxes, pay your expenses for the business, pay all your staff, and come out about even. What I like to do is I have a certain amount of money I like to keep in the bank for emergencies for any business that I run. So any business, we keep a certain amount of money in our bank account for emergencies. Past that, we try to break even every month, or even go a little in the hole sometimes if we've gone ahead some other months. And that's how it works. All right. JD, what are you asking, JD? Did I confuse you with that statement? Which part? And then I'm going to go through a YouTube account set up with the rest of the time we have. Which part? Why don't you want to make an insanely profitable business? JD, I want to have a business that brings in a ass ton of money. Okay, let's keep that on the table. I want a business that brings in just an amazing amount of money. Ass ton is your word for the day, by the way. I want a business that brings in a lot of money. However, at the end of the year, do you think I want the IRS to come in and say, well, Ben, you made this amount of money personally, the business paid you this amount of money, we're going to tax you on this. By the way, your business made $200,000 in profit. We're going to tax your business too. So you just effectively got double taxed. JD, let me ask you something. Would you rather go hire another staff member for your business to grow quicker? Or would you rather pay that to the government? You're getting taxed somewhere, JD. My point is your business should pay you and the excess amount. Does that make sense? Your business should pay you the excess amount, or you should buy stuff to grow your business, or your business should allow you to live a lifestyle because it's paying for your lifestyle. The thing is don't get hit 2 or 3 times. Make sure your business runs at about even. And yeah. You are an employee though. And that's the thing, JD, you can always decide to pay yourself more and the business stay even, but you have more money coming into you personally. Because at the end of the year, somebody's getting taxed. That's all there is to it. At the end of the year, somebody's getting taxed. Now, let me ask you guys something. Would you rather at the end of the year get taxed more than you've already been taxed with payroll and things like that? Or would you rather make a large donation to your favorite charity or your favorite cause? Or spend more money to market your business? Or bonus your staff because they're badasses? Sam, we don't even do quarterly taxes, man. We do taxes every month. The kind of income that we're bringing in now, we have to. That's the only damn way our accountant can keep up with it. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Understand your business. You got to be careful because if you profit too much in your business gets taxed pretty hardcore. Okay? Use your business to provide the lifestyle you want and keep it pretty even. That's how I do it. That's how I've come out. Every year, guys, I think I'm just going to be taxed to the hilt because all my other friends in business are taxed like crazy, and every year I usually get a refund. Why is that? Well, number one, I have an accountant that knows what they're doing. But number two is we run our business at almost an even keel. That's how we're trying to do things every year. I don't stress that much at the end of the year about what I'm going to get taxed on because we do our taxes. I get hit through the year and not at the end of the year. So there's no surprises. Okay. Last thing. YouTube account setup. How many of you have run into walls when you're setting up a YouTube account because you set too many up on a certain IP address? Type it in. Let me know. Here's the solution. Here's the solution. I don't run into that very much, but here's the solution. Jump in and get a program called Hide My Ass Pro. Okay? Hide My Ass Pro looks kind of like what I'm showing you on my screen so far. You see that right now? Get Hide My Ass Pro, okay? And what this does is it allows you to have IPs in different areas across the country, across the world. Now, there's a few of you that have tried to use this service and you've still run into problems. Am I correct? There's a few of you. Here's why you're running into problems with it. You're not using the same IP to log into the same account every time. Does that make sense, or do I need to explain more? I know I'm going to have to explain more. If you set up a new account under, like on my screen, you see we've got this thing. We've got an account that we set up for Atlanta, Georgia. We've got an IP that we've set up using Hide My Ass, and you set up the account through that. But the next time you log in through your home account to that account, do you think that's going to raise some red flags? Do you think that might be a problem? Yeah. So the thing is keep a spreadsheet. Keep a spreadsheet that says where you actually log in from. So when you're switching your IPs using Hide My Ass Pro, if you're switching your IPs using Hide My Ass Pro, keep track of which one you use to set up the account. So Anita, does that make sense now? So every time you log into that account to make changes or whatever, you're using the same IP address or the same area of the world. If you logged in from an Atlanta IP address, do that. All right, let me actually bring this up so you can see it, Tom. Hang on, brother. I'll show you. Then we'll go back for questions. All right, I can't actually do this right now. Steve, you don't have to. If you can nail it down and use a local IP, great. But here's actually how I can't do this because it'll mess up our webinar if I start going through proxies, but let me show you how this works. See these? Can everybody see this on my screen? Try to get close to the city you're setting it up in. So that's basically what we're doing. We've got some Kansas City ones. We've got some things in the U.S. we can go through. You can go through with some different things here. There's not a ton of U.S. ones, but just mix them up a little bit. It's that simple. You got plenty of different places that you can go through. You got some more U.S. ones way down here. Do not rotate your IPs. You can actually set it up to rotate your IPs. Don't do that. Tom says, but do they have to be the exact IP when you come back? No. It just has to be the same area. Hey, are you guys right now, do you switch IPs every so often? Does your ISPs change up your IP? Yeah, it does. Just try to nail it. Sunita, this is basically some people are getting hit and not able to create new channels and new Google accounts for their videos because it's saying that they have actually, their IP is blocked because they've tried to set up too many through that. And I'm just showing you how to basically set up different accounts using different IP addresses if you run into that problem. So, yeah. Tom, my big thing is log out of your accounts to be sure, clear your cookies, log out of your account, and then go through and go with the new one and then log into the account through the IP that you did before or the new IP. Yeah, I clear my cookies. I log out of all the accounts that I'm on Google, make sure that I do that. Does that make a little more sense to you guys? So the thing is don't set it up and then go right back and log in through your old IP. That raises red flags. Now, I'm not trying to teach you this to be shady, but if you're running into this every so often, do it. Okay? Bob, YouTube says that they won't verify more than 2 channels per telephone number per year. Well, that's convenient that you have a call tracking service that generates a new telephone number, isn't it? There you go. That's how you do it. Hide My Ass Pro. Does that help with that problem, guys? Did we do a good job getting that in front of you? Does that make more sense now? It's not complicated. It's just a little bit of a pain in your ass. It just makes now you guys see why. Now you guys see why I hire someone to do my videos, right? The reason I use Hide My Ass Pro, Larry, is because it just makes it easy. They have a program you can download and it just works well. Yeah, you can disconnect, clear cookies, and then re-log in to use your normal Gmail account, Don. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool, guys. Any questions? Go ahead, throw them at me now. I want your questions. What is not making sense about how to run this company once you get to that point? What is not making sense? What did we miss? What are some questions that you have? Because I know down the road, this may not make sense now or may not be something that's super important now, but down the road, this will be. Did I do a pretty good job? I'm not seeing a lot of questions come across. That's a good thing. I know I went hardcore into this today. I dug deep. Let's see. There's a question from Elaine. So you can do one YouTube Gmail account, Best Company Springfield, and then have one channel for the plumber, one channel for the dentist, etc. Yeah, you can. There's a lot of ways to do channels. Go back and check some of the stuff David talked about. But yeah. Here's a good question from JD. JD says, want to talk about Google Hangouts at all? Doing the same as YouTube videos, but with Hangouts. JD, yeah, if you're good at Hangouts, Hangouts are going to be ranking really quickly. Right now, I have some buddies that are killing it with that. I'm actually going to tell you guys more about what they're doing with Hangouts very, very soon because they have an excellent system. So I'm going to probably put you guys on a webinar with them at some point and have them walk you through the process. They have software that's built. They're great. The thing with Hangouts is it's not a proven model yet. We're just starting to see some amazing things with it. The reason I'm not teaching Hangouts yet is because in the next 2 months, don't know what's going to happen with it. Don't know if Google's going to say, you know what, we need to weigh these less. What I'm guessing is with Hangouts, it's going to be big. But as I get more information on it, I'm going to update the course, and I'll let you guys know on that. But I didn't want to teach it yet because there's nothing that's really, there's not enough proof. It's still super quirky. Exactly, Tom. So once I get proof and I know that I have a ton of data that Hangouts are doing really well, I'm going to let you know. Don't worry. Is this process correct? This is from Don. For phone to associate with call tracking, set up call tracking number directed to your phone to get verification code, then switch to prospect client number, phone number. Yep, sounds good. When the jobs are split, it doesn't seem there's a lot of work for the outsourcers. How many videos per week for full-time work? Just make up your mind what you want to do. You can pay them less if they're doing less work. You know, if you only are having them do 50 videos a week versus 100, it's a whole different pay scale. You know, when you're doing videos in the beginning, you probably don't have anything for the salesperson to do. So there's no reason to have a salesperson. Scale this up little by little, okay? If you don't have, if you're not comfortable paying someone a lot, but you don't want to do videos anymore, start off with 20 videos a week. You know, it's not hard. How many vids can one person do if that's all they're doing? Roxana, if they do it the way that I taught, where they're kind of chunking their tasks together, like they get one picture for a dentist, and they're just changing the phone numbers and doing a video. Changing the phone numbers, doing a video. Changing the phone numbers, doing a video. And they do all their videos in one block, and then they go do all their uploading in one block. I would say you could literally knock out 50 to 100 videos in a week easily if you're doing it that way. Now, if they're doing it all in one step-by-step fashion, you're not going to even come close. If they're setting up videos, going to set up the channel, getting new email address, getting everything uploaded and set up the right way, you're probably limited to 20 videos a week, 20 to 50, tops. But if you do all your videos in one chunk, and then you do all your uploading in one chunk, and you segment those tasks correctly, you're going to be 100 times more productive. Does that make sense to everybody? Why you need to chunk your task and not do one by one? Like right now, I bet all of you are doing one by one. Like you create a video, then you go upload it. Am I correct? Yeah. Guess what? That shit ain't going to work. If you're going to grow this company, that ain't going to work. It's just not going to happen, guys. And that right now, that's okay because you're just trying to get the process down, and that's what I want you to do. But when you get moving and you get really doing this hardcore, understand you need to take a whole day or 2 days to just do videos. No uploading, just do videos. And then the next day is all about, putting up your channels and getting all that stuff done the right way. If you do that, you guys are going to kill it. You're going to kill it. You have all these little videos all over the world that are just destroying for you. So, cool, guys. I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. If you guys have anything, please feel free to put it inside the Facebook group. And I hope you have enjoyed the hell out of this course. You guys have helped shape this course and make it what it is. and it's been great. And everybody that watches this stuff after you is going to be forever indebted to you because of what you have helped us put together. So like I said, we knew exactly what we wanted to teach, but there are little subtle things that you guys have really helped us get. Oh, wow, that was huge. Thanks, Roxana. Roxana says, thanks forever for this. That's probably one of the nicest thank yous I've ever seen. And that's just, it's amazing how 4 words can touch you. That's wonderful. So, yeah, guys, I really appreciate you all. David appreciates you all. I know Los has been behind the scenes with this one. He appreciates it. Joe Troyer, who built the software, the Viewleo software, I got to say that's an amazing software. It's getting even better. They're adding more cool stuff to it. So everybody that put this course together and has made it possible has been great. If you have any questions at all, hit us up in the Facebook group. If you're watching this as a replay down the road, and this is not you guys, it's live, but for those watching this as a replay, get inside that Facebook group. This group that was live are going to be the ones that are going to help you take it to the next level because they're going to be inside the Facebook group and they're going to be able to help you out a ton. Guys, take care of yourself. Thank you again. And I will see you in the Facebook group for any extra questions. Post your videos, post your testimonials, post your problems. I want to know everything that's going on. We are going to make sure that we help you guys get this to the next level. This course does not end here. This course continues inside the Facebook group. So please hit us up with any questions that you have. As new things come along, we'll be updating this course step by step. And if I see any other ways you guys can get advantages and go faster, then we're going to put that inside as well. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. We're right at an hour and a half, and thanks for taking a little time out of your day. Go out there and take action on this and rock it out. All right, this was immersion session number 3, the CEO session. I hope you guys learned a whole lot. All right, I'll talk with you soon.